This conference will now be
All right, this is the week 4 online session, live session for Color Theory, and Matt Penna is here, as well as Angela, Anna, Darren, Elizabeth, Kenya, Lauren, Naomi, and Tyler. I'm glad you're all here. So this week, the pacing's kind of similar to last week. You really have one thing that you're working on, which is a package design. And but also you're going to include your final presentation, which is going to be all the work you've done so far, all put together in your presentation. So the pace is the same. We have the live session tonight. We're going to have live critiques on Thursday of whatever you've got. Provide some peer feedback on Friday. Complete your package design and assemble your completed final presentation for a video presentation on Sunday.
Are you going to do the same thing on Friday that you did last week? Where you kind of, yeah, like everybody gets on and you kind of talk about.
Yes, well, my intention is that I'm going to get on at noon Thursday and Friday. If you want to join me, I'm happy to discuss individual problems. I'm going to record it all.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, all right.
Awesome.
So, package design. Why do we have package design in color theory? Well, if you think about it, color is a huge component of what makes packaging effective and make it work. When you walk into a store, you're not reading the type at first, you're seeing the color first. And the color signals many things to us, flavors, quality, type of food it is, or type of product it is, is it lemon lime soda or is it bug spray? The subtle cues from color help define all these things. So packaging really is sort of a culmination of color and design and marketing and all put together, a little logistics as well. So the trick is, this is what you'll all find, is to identify with your category if it stand out from your competition. So in other words, every product is part of a category, like it might be cookies, candy, coffee, tea, soap, snacks. That's your category. And then your brand is what makes you special, what makes you stand out. I always say it's like picking out an outfit to wear to that famous end of the year senior party in high school, and you want to look cool, you want to be yourself, but you don't want to look so different that everyone's like, who the heck is that? So it's a balance between individuality, separating yourself, and fitting in. So a little bit of a paradox, actually. If you think of it, taking that metaphor further, like a person, this is called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Anybody ever heard of that?
Nope.
So it's all the things that people need to live. So you need food and water, you need to feel safe, you need to be part of a group, you need to be a valued member of the group, and bringing that all together is being a happy human. Well, packaging kind of works the same way. It protects the product, keeps it safe, is part of a category like cookies, coffee, and then esteem would be the best cookie, the best coffee, the best candy. So you're always trying to push it up the ladder in a way. It's a bit of marketing and it's a bit of construction and protecting packaging. If you look at these are all chocolate bars. Do they all look like chocolate bars to you guys?
No.
Naomi, which one doesn't, or which ones don't?
Most of them. Just the brown one on the bottom left looks like a chocolate bar to me.
Yeah, well, this is a color cues signaling flavor. So that kind of makes sense to us.
Mm-hmm.
Blue is not a food flavor. I mean, blueberries are purple, but there really isn't a blue food. This one, I'm not sure what that is. It could be wasabi. It could be
Mint.
cut grass. Yeah, maybe.
It's lemon, lime, lime, chocolate.
There you go.
Black and red. Kind of looks like food. Maybe that's meat flavored.
Birthday cake.
Taste the rainbow.
Fruit flavored.
Yeah, right. Fruit flavored. So in this case, the designs are sort of pushing themselves out of the category. So it could be interesting, it could be designed well, it could be different, but you don't want it to stand out too much. So here are some more chocolate bars. Do these all look like chocolate bars to you?
They do, actually.
Yeah, and yet they have some interesting colors. I mean, this blue isn't really like a food flavor, but some of these oranges are, and this purple foil, what do you think helps it feel more like chocolate bars?
The little brown guy that's on the moon.
Yes, there's a logo. It's in raised glossy ink, so it almost looks like it's made of chocolate. Like Willy Wonka says, lickable chocolate, lickable wallpaper.
It reminds me a lot of the European chocolate that I used to eat when I was a kid. We used to live in Germany.
Wow.
And it's funny, the blue and the light blue one looks like winter, but it says Venezuela. So I thought that was kind of ironic.
Yeah. Do they look like they're expensive, maybe?
Yes.
Yeah, the designs are very quite delightful, I would say, and make me think that the quality of the product inside is probably good as well. So
reminds me of kind of the Lindt brand of chocolates a little bit.
Yeah. The color schemes.
Be different. So these are tea boxes, but they look like little tea. So there's a lot of creativity that can happen here. Here's some ice cream bars. Do these look appealing to you? Would you eat these?
Heck yeah, I would eat those. I would eat them.
Yeah.
Reminds me of those, I can't think of what they're called, but they're a chocolate bar, but they're wrapped in, like dipped in really good chocolate.
Dove bar?
No, it's
Magnum.
Magnum bars. Yeah, the Magnum bars are awesome.
So in this case, this is actually a Russian company, but they have this sort of South Asian theme going on, which makes it feel a little exotic, maybe, even though they're just ice cream bars. The botanical images in the background sort of give you that clue about the flavors and bright colors. And if the product is real pretty and appetizing, then you should show a picture of it. If your product isn't real pretty, then you have to do something else.
Right.
Well, here's pepitas, and these are potato sticks.
Oh.
So they're not particularly pretty. They're also not very serious food. Like if something you sort of eat as a snack, kind of fun. So this kind of cartoony, fun style works for that because it's not, serious. Like those ice cream bars are a serious commitment.
Right. Yeah.
This kind of makes me think of Adventure Time or something.
Yeah, it's very, very whimsical and funny.
Yeah. Here's Firefly. This is peach tea. So again, flavor cues, giving you an idea. You can sort of feel like I know what that tastes like a little bit. I love their little logo too. This was a company called Castor and Pollux. They make pet supplies, pet treats and things. But I love this shampoo bottle for dogs, dog shampoo.
Oh, that's awesome.
Kind of fun and whimsical.
I don't know, the chocolate thing on the left looks like some kind of rat poison.
Oh.
Yeah, these are.
It looks like a box of rat poison.
I think that's a valid statement in that it looks very industrial.
Yeah.
It doesn't have appetite appeal the way food products would for people.
Yeah.
These are peanut butter treats for dogs. So I do think they could make it a little more appealing.
Yeah, well, my dog eats out of the cat box, so that's not really a big deal.
Yeah, right. So for a dog, this is okay.
Yeah.
Maybe they're hoping their kids won't like it to eat it.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
By accident. A few years ago, Converse was going out of business, and the fantastic, iconic Chuck Taylor shoe was going to go away, and they couldn't let that happen. So they came up with this scheme, and they created this sort of vintage wine box to put the shoes in, and it sort of became this mystical thing. It really sort of elevated the brand and brought them back to life enough where Nike ended up buying Converse. So packaging can make a big impact.
Yeah.
This is some close-up of they tag the tag.
Yeah, that's cool.
Kind of fun. This is from a website called Design Force Inc. And they print and manufacture packaging for virtually every major company in America. They do Procter & Gamble, General Foods, Lever. And this is what they say in their website. This is things to consider before executing design and color choices in packaging, which is what you're about to do. So I thought it was worth it to take a look at what they say. First of all, what does your brand stand for? Do you all know what your brand stands for? Yes, you do, because you've memorized your creative brief. Who's your customer? Well, you should know that because you did the target audience in your presentation. What about the brand color included prompts to buy response from consumer? That's a fancy way of saying what's going to make people want this. If it's at a beautiful ice cream bar, a picture of the ice cream bar is going to work pretty well. But if it's, say, coffee, maybe pictures of coffee beans aren't the thing. Maybe it's the coffee being used in some way, right? So you got to think like, what's going to bring people around? What's going to make them excited about my product and make them want to do it? And you can use photography. You can use all the tricks in the book. Whatever you want to use on your package, you can. You're not restricted at all. But what I ask is that you try to keep it branded, like within your brand standards that you're developing. So when packaging for a global audience, what colors are ascribed to the color? What meanings are ascribed to the colors used? Well, colors mean different things in different countries. So you have to be cautious when you're going out to a global audience. For the purposes of this assignment, I'm really thinking North America. So I'm not expecting you to alter your design for South Asia or for South America, or which you would actually do in a real situation. But you should just sort of be awakened to the fact that color is diverse around the world. And as you study it more and more, you'll see all the differences. Can a unique color be developed to support the brand? You all have your own unique color that you've been assigned. How does the chosen package color or combination make people feel? So this is something where you could send your designs off to somebody in the target audience and ask them how they feel about it. You're not looking for design advice. You're really just looking for a reaction. Yum, that looks delicious, or yuck, that looks awful. Like that's the kind of thing you want to hear. You want to find out, where am I? In the real world, they do focus groups and they bring people into a room and everyone says what they think. And then this last one, if the retailer shelves only a few items from a product line, you're not really doing a product line, you're just doing a one-off. But just keep in mind, in the world of package design, you can do a series of packages that sort of work together. And we'll look at some examples of that as well. This is another example, Mon Choco, the artisan chocolatier de Côte d'Ivoire. And they've got this, what I would call illustrative pattern in the background. It's kind of like people harvesting cacao pods. See how it looks? It almost looks like wrapping paper, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about this? What does it feel like to you? Would you buy this?
Probably. It looks like the women were taking time to gather all the stuff by hand and take care of it, like lovingly took care of the chocolate.
Yeah, it has a sort of whimsical, friendly. It doesn't look like like a labor camp or anything. It looks
right.
kind of nice. The little bit of gold touches in here kind of help me feel like it's kind of high end, maybe expensive. And they use the great word artisan, which is overused nowadays, but
Mm-hmm.
there it is in a gold canister. It sort of feels very high end, right?
Yeah.
Here is this series where they use a cacao pod, which is not a pretty thing, but they make it look like it's made of chocolate. And then they add a flavor cue image, like a mint leaf, and then a color that gives you the flavor. So they're using a principle where they repeat things in a very systematic way and then alter the color so that it kind of works with all these different colors among one brand. And all these colors feel kind of flavorful to me. I mean, this purple kind of does. I'm not sure about this blue, maybe. And there it is, it's a set. It's like a set of books. You'd like to get that for your birthday. This is a restaurant in Russia, and this fast food restaurant, and they serve pizza, burgers, and sushi.
Okay.
I'm told as it comes, but it's called Mama Mafia. I love the logo. It kind of looks, you see this character, I mean, with minimal amount of detail, they've conveyed some sort of character. I can hear her voice. She's like the old woman from the Goonies, right? If you've seen the Goonies.
Yeah.
And they've got another sort of illustrative pattern, kind of fun pictures. Fast food isn't necessarily serious, and maybe perhaps a little dangerous is okay. I don't know, eating sushi at a fast food place in Russia to me seems kind of dangerous, but
yeah, yes.
You can see how the theme of illustrations tied everything together. They've got this like Yakuza guy. And I'm not sure what that sound was. Is that Darren?
Oh, sorry, that was me. Yeah. I was sucking.
Cold one.
No, I was sucking on my lip. I do that. I've gotten a bad habit, and I keep hurting myself. So
there's a pizza box with the Russian writing.
Yeah, I do like this logo.
Here's some candy. This is an interesting technique. So they've got a nice little pattern going on the edge there with the illustration. And then the picture of the product isn't particularly pretty. So they added some sort of whimsical photos with the whimsical illustrations with the photo to try to enhance it. And I think it works pretty well. They have this logo, it looks like it's dripped in buttermilk. And they've got vanilla fudge and peanut brittle.
Yeah, I know, me too.
Clotted cream. This is like the worst name, best thing.
Oh my gosh.
Clotted cream it's like sweet sour cream.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would eat clotted cream.
Fudge out of it. Yeah. Well, it's very British kind of thing.
Right.
All right, so now we're going to play a little game called Before and After. I'm going to show you some products that were redesigned, and I want you to tell me what they did and why. First up is Luden's cough drops. Here's the before on top and the after on the bottom. What do they do and why?
So on the top, it looks very medicine-y, and on the bottom, it looks very friendly. Like you're not taking medicine on the bottom, but you are on the top.
Yeah, they kind of color coded their bags more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you think they color coded them? What's the
purpose? The flavor.
Yeah, there's a lot more flavor.
And there's a reason why they put the cherry package in the front, because it's much more appealing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're absolutely right. Luden's is a very old company, and this feels very medicinal. Clearly, the market changed, and it became more candy oriented. So they have to step it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, quinoa, right. The change of color describes the flavor, so you can taste it. Now, just, sort of like armchair anthropologists here, humans, we survive by, we climb up the tree, we see the ripe fruit, and we get that, we eat it, and the ones who could see that color and pick it out were the ones who lived. The ones who picked the green ones didn't. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So our ability to associate color with something good to eat is instinctive and built into our brains. I mean, it really affects us. And then over time, like especially candy in particular, they pump up the color artificially, sort of boosting it from what it would be in nature, and trying to enhance that effect even more. And then you end up with things like Slurpees.
Right.
And they're weird colors. All right. So here's another one. Before on the left, after on the right.
Hmm.
Very old school on the left, almost like a map. Looks like, is that a map? That is a map, isn't it?
Feels like an old map.
Mm,
Yes.
Yeah. It feels
almost.
old and dirty. It just, to me, it feels old and
Oh,
dirty. The other one
I don't know.
feels clean.
Oh, I like the old one. I almost wish they wouldn't have changed it, but
Oh, yeah.
I think that that's a valid thing to say. This does feel older. Kenya says, yeah, this is more contemporary. So I did a lot of work in Mexico and went to Mexico City. My client was in Mexico City, and
hmm.
you'd go to lunch. You go to lunch at like 2 in the afternoon, from 2 to like 4:30. Um, and when
After your
you get to the
siesta.
restaurant, everyone smokes inside, like it's not like the U.S. And then they'll bring tequila to the table, and everyone drinks the tequila like a ceremonial thing, and then they'll have wine or martinis and on top of
Holy
that.
mackerel.
But the
Wow.
tequila is like a ceremonial thing, like we're doing business. And this bottle on the left kind of makes me think of that, like old men smoking,
Hmm.
old-fashioned suits and a table. And then the bottle on the right makes me feel like I'm at the beach or something. It's a little
Yeah.
more,
Or like young 30-somethings or 20-somethings
yes,
or, yeah.
it's
That's
more
true.
contemporary.
Yeah, I can see that. The colors are more vibrant. Yeah.
It's
Even the
easier. It's
color of the tequila inside is more vibrant.
yeah. It's
Well, the
easier to
photo's
read.
better.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a
That's
better
right.
execution of the photo. This is añejo, which is one kind of a different variety than reposado. But I do like back here they have this agave plant behind the type, sort of ghosted back, and
Hmm.
it just kind of looks like dirt. And here they
Yeah.
put it sort of in a little gold ring by itself, and suddenly it becomes kind of special and significant. Um, the they added this little silhouette of Don Julio. You can just see him horseback riding over the agave fields, surveying, right? It gives it a sort of romance to it that is
Hmm.
helpful. Um, and then the other information is just organized a little better and cleaned up, and that helps. Here, things are kind of jumbled and thrown
Hmm.
together, uh, but it doesn't work as well. So, Lauren, I like that. My kind of lunch. All right.
Yeah.
Peanuts
Heck yeah.
before on the left, after on the right.
I don't know. I don't mind the peanuts on the left.
The one on the right looks more modern. It goes with more packaging today. So they're trying to keep up with the times.
Yeah. The one on the left looks more like snack, like you would eat it on the plane or um, just pick one up at the convenience store and eat it like that.
Right. What's the marketing push? What did they do differently?
We
They've
can't
got
see the actual peanuts.
they've got
Right.
Michael's. They've made the farm a lot bigger to make people.
Yeah. So farm here went to farm, became the biggest thing on the package.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Why do you think they
Even
did that?
added the tractor.
Lauren says
I
more
think,
organic.
yeah, and I think people associate quality with like the local farmer and
Hmm.
better
Right.
quality.
It's
Farm to
kind of funny
table.
because of course
Hmm.
peanuts come from a farm. Like where else would they come from? But the push there sort of makes it feel like you said, Darren, like a little local, kind of like special, different. And the packaging kind of feels like like a sack of potatoes or something, but
Yeah,
more.
that I was just
Hmm.
gonna say that. Like it looks like when you walk into Five Guys, the
Yeah.
big bags of
Yes.
potatoes. You know what I mean? It
And
kind of
peanuts show
reminds me of a
more.
big. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Isabella says it shows a personal feeling from the brand. Yeah, it does have more personality. This to me feels like this would be hanging on that aisle in 7-Eleven where the motor oil is, where no one goes,
Right, right.
and Band-Aids, right? And then
Yeah,
this is in Whole Foods.
Right.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, lasagna, before on the left, after on the right.
I'm not crazy about the background behind the one on the right, but um, it's red, I guess. When I think of when I think of Italian food, I don't think of blue.
Yeah,
I think of red, green, and white.
yeah, because those are the Italian flag colors.
Yeah,
But red is much more of a food color than this blue.
Mm-hmm.
correct.
How about the photo? Yeah, Lauren said, the picture. This is school lunch, and this is gourmet
Yes.
magazine.
Yeah.
What a difference.
Yeah. It almost looks like they took it out of a picture of a magazine. Like,
Yeah.
looked like they cropped it out.
It's got this little element here. It looks like a kind of sticker with this deckled edge that's been placed over
Hmm.
the box. It makes it feel a little more special.
Yeah.
Handmade.
Yeah. The one
Um,
on the left reminds me of the package that when you would open up the cupboard when I was a kid. That's what,
it's the Kraft
yeah,
macaroni and cheese uses blue.
Mm-hmm.
correct. Yep.
So they don't want to be Kraft. They want to be special Italian lasagna with Spanish writing
Right.
on it.
Right.
Yeah. So the color makes a big difference. All right, here's water. This is before on the left, and this is a close-up of the label on the
Um,
right. So what's the difference? What did they do?
font's different. The label's a lot more plain but more elegant at the same time.
Yeah, Lauren says
Kind of
bougie.
makes you, yeah, kind of, it kind of makes you thirsty. The one on the right makes you more thirsty.
Yes, more sophisticated, Kenya says. Yeah, this is like vodka over here. Now
Right.
this is like pool chemicals. Yeah, Lauren, the silver
Mhm.
foil helps you feel upscale. Um, yeah, so how much do you think this is per bottle on the left?
Uh,
Yeah,
65 cents.
Isabel just said it. 99 cents a bottle,
Yeah.
3.99 over here. All right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I want to make a big point here. The difference between 99 cents and 3.99 is design. Design adds value. When you go out in the world and get a job somewhere, you're adding money to the bottom line by being a good designer. It happens in many different ways. Packaging is just one of the things, but just always keep that in mind. Design isn't just fun and games and playing with creativity. It's also solving problems and making money.
Right.
Here's some beer. Left is before and then after.
It just looks more expensive. They've changed the font. They've really taken India out of, well, no, I see it there at the bottom of the thing, but
Yes,
um,
Kenya, bolder statement.
yeah.
Yeah, Darren. So the design is more organized and the name of the brand is way more prominent here than here.
Yeah.
What's the number one thing that jumps out here is India, which isn't even a thing. It's India Pale Ale. It's not just India.
Yeah. Well, when I think of India, I don't think of beer. So that
Yeah,
could have
well,
like been
India
a good
Pale Ale.
reason.
Well, India Pale Ale is a type of beer, and it comes from. This is where your professor has the trivia. Uh, so they used to ship beer to India from England, and in England, they were taxed by the alcohol content. So the more alcohol content, the more tax you paid on the beer. So, but if you were shipping it to India, uh, over the time it was being shipped, it would lose alcohol, and so you were able to brew beer with a higher alcohol content to go to India without being taxed.
Ah.
And then they would just not ship it to India. But if you get India Pale Ale, it usually has a slightly higher alcohol content than regular beer.
Okay.
So
That's
now you know.
wow.
I
Yeah,
need that
I
little
love that.
star. The more
This
you
is what
know.
this is why I like that class.
Yes, and it's very hoppy. Correct, Lauren. It has a certain taste that's kind of a little bitter, maybe a little more sophisticated. But clearly, this this label jumps out. When I see something that's designed so badly, I think what's inside must not be safe. You know, like what's going on there. All right, this is not great design. This is Rice-A-Roni. The reason I'm showing you this is because I'm just using this as an example, because this has everything that could possibly go on a package on it. So just show you all the different kinds of things that can go there. So the first thing you want to do when you're designing a package is find what they call the primary display panel. And that's the part of the box that faces the consumer. In this case, it's this part right here. So when your design is flat out, you got to think about where that's going to be. Certain things have to go on the primary display panel by law in the US. So here it is flattened out. And first of all, your logo. You've worked really hard on your logos. Show it off. Now it's going to be the star of the show here. A descriptor line. This is words that explain to people basically what your product is. So you're going to get that from your creative brief. It's going to be the special thing about your product. This one has a second descriptor line. So it's like long grain and wild rice, and then tender long grain and wild rice with herbs. So really pushing it. Ingredients. Everything has ingredients. The ingredients might be simple, like coffee or tea, or it might be complicated, like in the case of soap or something like that. Net weight. This has to be on the primary display panel. It has to be really clear, and it can't be subtle, and it has to be high contrast. In the case of Rice-A-Roni, they did white type with a black outline. But here's the design principle that I would follow. Whenever I have to have something, I know it's a requirement, I put that on the page first, because the worst is when you've finished your design and you realize you forgot something essential, and now you have to stick it in and it doesn't fit, or you have to redesign it. Make sense?
Yep.
Nutritional facts. If it has any sort of nutritional value, calories, you got to put one of these on. You can go find one online. Just steal one to use for this product, for this purpose. A barcode, that will be in the files you'll get, I think. Yes. Directions. So making Rice-A-Roni is pretty easy, 2 steps. Maybe your product doesn't have directions, but you could write something that sort of intrigues people, tells a story. You know, we've been in business for 150 years, or brew this tea, sit in a lotus position, face the rising sun, and enjoy the day. Whatever it is, you want to, if somebody's actually taken the time to pick the box up off the shelf and look at the back, you're almost home. You want to like really sell. Now, Rice-A-Roni has a lot of other things going on here. So they've got this little recipe card, and it comes in at an angle like this because this is what they call a violator. And usually marketing wants to throw this in at the last minute to try to push some new initiative, but it's not the greatest friend of the designer. So you don't really need something like that. The package templates, I'm going to give you the files. They look not like this. They will be an Illustrator file, flat, and I'm going to show you one. I'm going to get the files. I've moved everything around. I'm trying to make the course better than ever for you guys, and I left off the files. So let's see, online assets. There they are. All right, so these are the package designs. All right, there's the AI file. So the way you do this is similar to the mock-up that you did of the identity package. You're going to take a flat Illustrator file and incorporate it into a Photoshop file that we've set up that will actually sort of render it as a 3D thing. And there's video that explains how to use these files. But just to give you an overview, so it's going to look like this. You have to figure out which one's my primary display panel. In this particular design, it could be either this or this one. And then how's it going to look when it's assembled? And then you got to put all the key elements that I've just gone through on there to make sure that you've covered all your bases. Like I said, net weight, descriptor line, logo. You can find a photo or something of your package, of your product. That would be awesome. Let's go over to the assignment. So when you look at the assignment, I've given some sparse details here, but there is a video that will show you how to use the files. There's another video I made just sort of enhancing, adjusting it. But when it's done, it looks sort of like this, like it's kind of a 3D thing. And it's a lot of fun. It's kind of amazing. Our friend Omar Martinez set this up so that you can render a 3D package. Examples. So let me go over here. Now, I'm going to show you an example of a final presentation because this is the final thing that you're going to be doing. You're going to be putting your package together and then adding it to your presentation template and then making a video presentation using your presentation template. This is Maria's, and she did this on campus, but it's the same template that you guys have. She just customized it a bit. So I'll take you through this. This was her title page. She added her brand color, which is this yellow. She did some interesting typography. She cleaned it up, made it look a little nicer. This is her creative brief. Now, she went into the master page, added some color, made it a little more custom and special. Her word cloud. So at this point, you start to worry about making this really look nice. You want to add color because it's color theory and different fonts. So play with this. I don't really grade this on, a real harsh basis, but I do expect you to do something with it to make it interesting. Target audience. She's actually customized the fonts as well. Inspiration. So this was an Indian tea, and she looked at these henna tattoos and sort of interesting people gathering tea leaves. Some interesting stuff for her inspiration. Her competitors. She dug deep, found her 6 competitors. Fonts. Sketches. She did 2 rounds of sketches. Her logo process, so 10 versions of each of her ideas. The one was a teacup or a teapot. This was a flower. And this one was a hand with a flower. She ended up sort of creating a hybrid of the 3. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. And then she did the hand, but with a bee. Now this is a really sweet tea. So the bee kind of makes sense, like because the bees like honey. There's her color. You just finished all this. Color palette. Identity package, business card, letterhead, envelope, and there it is all put together. So a little different template, but it has a branded look. The colors all sort of work together. Her logo works. She added this kind of background flower. She used a flower over here as well. It's kind of a nice design. Then she kind of went above and beyond. She found a mock-up for a teacup. She did some tea bag tags. And then she did a package design. Now this template is different than you'll use because she was on campus. But she put it together. It has a little pattern that she made in Illustrator, which is kind of nice. It's got her logo. It's got a descriptor line. She added this little USDA sticker. It has the weight, net weight. She added a secondary element, which was like a flower. That was 1, 2, it's doing the pattern in a different way. And she's got this kind of image in the background here that feels like textured paper. And then 3, this one was a pattern made of tea leaves. 4, there. And so there's her final design. She actually built it because she's on campus, so she actually made it and put this together and shot it. You can make a composite with yours. So yours will, by default, just be on a white background. But if you want to, You can add your own background. You can add other elements. You can dress it up, make it like a photo you'd use for an advertisement for your product. Make sense? Any questions?
For example, I've got soap. Do I just go and pick like any ingredient list of soap
Yes.
that's okay?
Yeah, I will not grade you on how accurate your soap ingredients are.
Okay.
I do have some students like they take this little package and they put like 1.5 pounds. I'm like, what's it made
Mm.
of? Lead? No.
Okay.
Your goal is to make it look sort of realistic. Now, here's a big clue for those of you who are online right now. There is a website. You can all go to it with me. It's called the Dieline, DIELINE.com. The Dieline.com is a professional website for package designers. I'm actually going to copy this and paste it into the comments. This is a great website to look at for inspiration. So you can go here and see what the leaders of the industry are doing. You can get all kinds of ideas for the types of things that might go on your package. You get a lot of inspiration. This is where I got some of those before and after examples. And it has somewhere a little search window. Let's see, here it is, search. This is the best thing. So say I was doing chocolate, I would type in chocolate and see what comes up. And all of a sudden you get examples of what professional people are doing with chocolate. And it could give you ideas like, what do I need to add to my packaging? What makes it realistic? What makes it seem like it's actually produced? There's some really high-end stuff, some very mass consumer stuff, but it's a lot of fun. So spend some time poking around, getting a feel for what you want to do. You will find, Kenya, the Photoshop template and the Illustrator files will be uploaded right after lecture. I apologize that they're not there currently, but I will get them to you. All right. All right. Well, it's a little quick tonight because really we're just focused on that one thing, the package design, but I am really looking forward to seeing what you're doing. Some of you are creating some interesting brands. You start to pull your look together and it becomes more and more fun as you go on. The hard work of sort of establishing what your brand is and what it looks like, after that gets done, then it's just a matter of cut and paste and you start to have a lot more fun making all different kinds of things. So hopefully this will be enjoyable and interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you do. Any questions about last week's work or being graded or anything like that?
The only question I have to be quiet because I'm in a library, but the only question that I have is like doing the patterns. It didn't seem like I was able to. It would never take, like when I would drag it over into the swatches panel, it would never take it, and so I was getting really frustrated with that.
So did you get an error message like it can't be made into a pattern or something?
No, I got the error message that said it has to be embedded. Then I would embed it and it still wouldn't take it. It would give me, instead of giving the green arrow or the green plus sign, it would give me.
Were you trying to use a photo as part of your pattern?
No, I was using that wreath, that like thing that they use in the Olympics, the wreath thing. I was trying to make
Yes.
that into a pattern and it wouldn't take it.
And it just seems like vector art. I'm trying to remember, it's part of your logo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that should work if you expand it.
I don't know. Maybe I grouped it.
Try expanding it. You know, another thing you could do with the wreath, I don't know, I'll just demo this because I feel like it. If you create, you can create little leaves. I'm going to show you how quick you can do this. So just make that into a point. If I had, let's see. So I'm just sort of making a couple leaves here. Stick that out more. I'm doing this real rough, but okay. So you sort of get the idea. I
Yeah.
could finesse this, put veins in there and all that. But if I go to my brushes, I can turn this into a pattern brush. Pattern brush. And then I get this leaf. So for instance, if I use this and say I want it to be leaves, it's actually a
Oh,
little
wow.
large. But you get the idea, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it wasn't the creation of it. It was the trying to get it to become a pattern, like
Oh
using
yeah,
the swatches
I
palette.
get it.
That's
I
where I
get
was getting frustrated.
I get what you're saying, but I just it made me think of this, and I hardly ever get to do anything creative anymore, so I had to do a little demo. So
Yeah.
here we go. There we go. I made it smaller. I made it green. Make it into a pattern brush. Okay, and now I can make my circle. And
Yeah. Take out your fill. There you go. Oh, that's cool.
all right, so
Yeah. That's very cool.
that's really rough. Obviously, I would get in there and finesse this and give the leaves. I could make probably like a series of like 3 or 4 leaves that are kind of different, and it would be more organic feeling. I could
Yeah.
add some thickness to the stroke. So yeah, have fun.
Okay. Yeah.
All
And
right,
I can't really. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Awesome. Thanks, man.
all right, Kenya, you had a hard time with the prototype template for the ID package. Yes. You didn't find the Photoshop document? The Photoshop document is a link in the assignment. And let's see. I know it's there because other people have it. All right, help me out. It's got to be here.
I think a lot of it was in the zip.
Yes. Oh, it was in the original zip file.
Yes.
Yes, from week 2. So that's where you should have gotten it from. So Kenya, if you, yeah, week 2, I will also message that to you shortly. And you know, I'll grade forgiveness. When you get that done, I'll update your grade. All right. All right. So these are some good questions. I know somebody brought up that the template, the InDesign template, had some inaccuracies in the little notes on the side. They're not. They're actually sort of just keyed to the wrong page, but I will fix that as well. But all right, I'm going to end the recording.